Hey guys, welcome to the Criddle-Weber racing channel on YouTube. With this being our first video, we're probably just going to give you guys some insight on a little bit about us, the car we drive, and the style of racing we do. First off, we are a drag racing team from the Western Midwest. I'm Colin. I'm one of the guys that helps change the tires on the car. Basically, we like to drive this car out on the street too. So when we come to the drag strip, we do have special racing slick tires that we put on the car. So that is part of my job, is helping to make sure that the tires get changed, as well as just some general track stuff. Our driver that you can see here is Nicole. She drives our 2002 Ford Mustang for us. And the style of racing that we do is called bracket racing. So we'll get into bracket racing a little bit more towards the middle of the video. Right now, this first run that you're about to see is our qualifier, our first of our two qualifiers. And on the qualifying, you leave the starting line the same time as your opponent, whereas in the actual bracket elimination racing, you do not. But we'll get into that a little bit later. As you can see, Nicole's about to do her burnout, and she said she's going to run this quarter mile in 15.08 seconds, so let's see if she can do that.
Hey guys, this is Nicole. So as Colin stated earlier, we did dial in at a 15:08. We ended up running a 15:21 with a .004 reaction time. So great reaction time, but not so much on the dial in. But this is kind of what qualifying rounds are for, to kind of reel in on a correct, consistent dial in. So we'll get you over to the second qualifying round.
So we'll talk a little bit here about what we do in between each of our qualifiers, as well as in between each of our races. After each run down the track, we'll bring the car back to our little pit staging area, and we'll meet with our crew chief, Dale. He really likes to go over the weather, because that can affect the performance of the car pretty drastically. So we'll take a look at the density per altitude, as well as the temperature outside and the humidity level. Try to factor all that in, and we'll write it all down, because we like to keep records and look back at previous runs down the track to see if any of them match up with our current conditions and what our dial-in was at that time. We really try to do that to get a more accurate reflection of what the car will do down the track the rest of the day, or for even just for the upcoming run. So we did that, and our next qualifier here, our second qualifier, we dialed in at a 15.15.
So as we said said earlier, we did dial in at a 15:15. We did end up running a 15:23 with a .06 reaction time. So great reaction time again, a little bit closer on our dial-in, but not quite as close as we would have liked. Normally we do get 3 qualifying rounds, but today, since there were so many cars because of the holiday, we only were able to get in 2 qualifying rounds. In my class total, there were 18 cars, and we did qualify 6 out of 18. So that is the end of qualifying rounds, and we will be going into eliminations.
So as you guys have probably noticed, Nicole is turning on a second camera inside the car there on the window. Unfortunately, that footage just wasn't usable, so this is what we'll have to go with for today. But now that we're done with qualifiers, we're getting into eliminations. And with eliminations, they work different than qualifiers. In qualifying, you leave the starting line at the same time as your opponent. Whereas in the actual elimination race, it goes by who goes slower. The slower car gets to leave first. So let's say that we run the track in a 15-second time. The car next to us runs in 13 seconds. We get a 2-second head start, and then it's all up to the driver. And theoretically, they should be neck and neck at the finish. So this time we dialed in a 15:21.
Must have red lit. So we did dial in at a 15:21. I ended up running a 15:39 with a .05 reaction time. Once again, great reaction time, not so much on the dial-in. I'm sure you heard me say, oh, he must have red lit about halfway down. There is a wind light way at the end of the track, and I was able to see that come on halfway down. So the only explanation was that he left way too soon, so that is an automatic loss on his part.
Since our opponent red lit in the first round of eliminations, that automatically puts us into the second round. And for this elimination race, we decided to dial in at a 15.3. So we dialed in at a 15.3, ended up running much faster at a 15.13. So that is called a breakout, which is also an automatic loss, like a red light. So unfortunately, this was the end of our day.